Welcome to the Teacher's Lounge, a podcast dedicated to providing real-life resources for early education professionals. The Teacher's Lounge is hosted by Noelle Dentino and Jessica Day. Together, they bring almost 50 years of combined experience in and out of the early education classroom, offering a wealth of knowledge and practical insights that you need now if you're in childcare. Whether you're a new assistant or making the leap from lead teacher to director, we have you covered. Join us as we delve into the unique challenges and opportunities of each role, sharing our experiences and expertise with practical tools to help you succeed. So, grab a cup of coffee or your favorite drink, and let's jump into the lounge.
Welcome back to the Early Education Teachers Lounge podcast. Today's topic is one that every teacher encounters: handling challenging behaviors in the classroom. Managing behavior can feel overwhelming at times, especially when we're caught in the moment. But the good news is that the right delete, 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 delete. Managing behavior can feel overwhelming at times, especially when we're caught in the moment. But the good news is that the right delete, 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 delete. But the good news is that with the right proactive strategies in place, you can prevent many behavior issues before they escalate. In this episode, we'll focus on proactive approaches that help you set clear expectations, reduce disruptions, and create a positive classroom environment. So let's get started. Identifying common triggers in disruptive behaviors. One of the first steps to managing challenging behaviors is understanding why they happen in the first place. Often, behaviors like aggression, defiance, or even disengagement stem from unmet needs or a lack of structure. Some common triggers for disruptive behavior include lack of clear expectations. When students don't know what's expected of them, they often act out as a way to test boundaries. Overstimulation or boredom. Too much going on or not enough to do can lead to fidgeting, talking out of turn, and other disruptive behaviors. Emotional triggers. Children, especially younger ones, may struggle to communicate their feelings. Frustration, anxiety, or feeling unsafe can manifest as challenging behavior. By identifying potential triggers in your classroom, you can take preventative action before the behavior escalates. Now, let's talk about some proactive behavior management techniques. Delete, 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 delete. Now, let's talk about some proactive behavior management techniques you can use to address these triggers before they become bigger problems. The key is to be preventative rather than reactive. Number 1, set clear and consistent expectations. The first proactive strategy is to establish clear expectations from the beginning. Children need to know what's expected of them, both behaviorally and academically. I always recommend going over classroom rules and routines frequently, especially with younger students. Make sure your expectations are simple and clear, and if needed, provide visual cues or reminders around the classroom. For example, you might create a visual chart that outlines your rules for listening, taking turns, or staying seated during group activities. This way, you're reinforcing those expectations daily. Also, remember that consistency is key. If you establish a rule, be sure to enforce it every time. Inconsistent follow through can lead to confusion and more behavioral issues down the road. Number 2, use positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is a powerful tool for encouraging good behavior. When students see that their good actions lead to positive outcomes, they're more likely to repeat those behaviors. This can be simple as verbal praise, a sticker chart, or earning extra free play, delete, or earning extra free playtime at the end of the week. The key here is to catch good behavior early and often. Praise students for small wins, like sitting quietly during circle time or helping a classmate. When you focus on the positive, it can help shift the dynamics of your classroom. One tip that I find helpful is to create specific praise. Instead of just saying, "Good job," you might say, "I love how you waited your turn to speak." This reinforces the exact behavior you want to see more of. Number 3, provide choices. Children often act out when they feel a lack of control. One way to prevent this is by offering them choices. For example, you might let them choose between two activities. Decide where you want to sit. Delete. Decide where they want to sit during quiet times, or select the book for read aloud time. Even simple choices give children a sense of ownership and control, which can help reduce power struggles and defiant behavior. The key is to offer limited choices that still align with your overall classroom structure. For example, instead of asking, "What do you want to do today?" you might ask, "Would you like to work on your art project or read a book during quiet time?" This way, you're giving them a sense of control while still maintaining the order of the classroom. Now, let's talk about positive reinforcement and clear consequences, both essential for managing challenging behavior proactively. As I mentioned earlier, rewarding good behavior is a great way to encourage students to follow the rules. But equally important is having clear and consistent consequences for inappropriate behavior. This doesn't mean punishment. It means setting boundaries that are understood by both you and your students. Use logical consequences. Logical consequences work because they are directly related to the behavior. For example, if a child is running indoors, the logical consequence would be reminding them that running is for outside play. If they continue, they might lose the privilege of participating in the next group game until they're ready to walk safely inside. If a child is interrupting during story time, a gentle consequence might be asking them to move to the back of the group where they can still listen without disrupting others. The idea is to make the consequence fit the behavior. This helps students understand the connection between their actions and the outcomes, rather than feeling like they are being unfairly punished. Be calm and consistent with consequences. Consistency is key when it comes to both positive reinforcement and consequences. If you allow certain behaviors to slide one day but enforce rules the next, students may become confused and more likely to test boundaries. Keep your tone calm and matter of fact when delivering consequences, so that it feels less like a personal attack and more like a natural result of the behavior. For example, if a child is throwing blocks instead of playing safely with them, you might say, "I see you're throwing the blocks. If you keep doing that, you'll need to choose a different activity where you can play more safely." If the behavior continues, kindly redirect them to another area or activity where the play is safer. By keeping your tone calm, it helps maintain the classroom environment while addressing the behavior. Then, move on without getting emotionally involved in the exchange. The goal is to reinforce the rules without creating an emotional or adversarial interaction. Lastly, let's talk about one of the most important pieces of proactive behavior management: communicating with families. Challenging behavior doesn't just exist in the classroom, it often stems from issues or experiences at home. Building a strong line of communication with parents or caregivers is essential for finding the root of behavioral issues and working together on solutions. When discussing behavior with parents, make sure to first frame it positively. Begin with the child's strengths and positive behaviors before addressing the challenges. Next, offer solutions, not just problems. Instead of simply reporting bad behavior, collaborate with parents to find solutions that can be both used, delete. It can be used both at home and in the classroom. Last, keep the conversation going. Check in with parents regularly to discuss progress and challenges. Behavior management is an ongoing process, and having the family's support is key. Managing challenging behaviors is no easy task, but with a proactive approach, you can prevent many issues before they even start. By setting clear expectations, using positive reinforcement, offering choices, applying logical consequences, and maintaining communication with families, you can create a classroom environment that is both structured and nurturing. Remember, behavior management is a journey, not a one-time fix. It requires ongoing attention and adjustment, but every small step you take will lead to big improvements over time. Thank you for joining me today. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to check out our other resources on classroom management and more tips on creating a positive and organized learning environment. Keep up the great work. You're making a difference every day.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of the Teacher's Lounge. We're so grateful for your time and hope you found our discussion helpful and inspiring. Remember, you are doing an amazing job in the field of early education, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, take care, and we'll be back soon with more resources, insights, and inspirations to help you succeed. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on all our social medias to stay up to date on the latest happenings inside the lounge. Keep up the great work. We're cheering you on.